And I guess if there's one thing I want you to like take away from the song is that, listen, you can try to script and you can try to plan and you can try to prospect everything out, but at some points in time, you just gotta shoot. You just gotta do it.
Shope, I be Shope honest. Someone I know got me on the next thing.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back. It's been a while since I've done one of these, but I hope you've been enjoying the content that has been dropping on this channel over the last couple of weeks. We dropped the 2100 Freestyle visualizer, we dropped the official music video, we dropped the lyric video, and now we're back with another vlog. So even though it's been a while since I've done one of this, I hope you've been enjoying the content over the last couple of weeks. And if for whatever reason you haven't been keeping up, then you know what to do. Go back, watch everything, come back here, and let's get it going. But yes, your boy Shope, Afrofusion recording artist and just lover of all things culture, creativity, music, business. And what I want to do today is I want to sort of take you behind my latest song, 2100 Freestyle, talk about sort of like the idea behind it, some of my favorite lines in the song, and maybe just one little thing maybe you can pull away from the record. Because you know what I mean? I always want to entertain you and also kind of build you up at the same time. So let's get into it. So 2100 Freestyle, man. 2100 Freestyle is a rap record. It's a rap song, man. It's a rap song. I kind of went back in my rap bag. Still brought in some of the Afrofusion elements in there, but it's very rap and very hip-hoppy, and I'll sort of talk a little bit more about that later on. But for now, let's just dive into some of these lyrics, you know what I'm saying? So, song sort of starts off like, most times I play quiet like I'm disconnected, but best believe my eyes are open, I'm never ineffective. And that's just kind of speaks to my personality, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a super loud guy, I'm not a super kind of like, making sure I'm seen everywhere, but I definitely keep my eyes on what's going on and I try to stay informed, even though I'm not necessarily always the loudest in the room, and I think there's some power to that. I never interjected when I was disrespected. Baba mi sokwe when they curse you when they need a blessing. And that is just kind of like a paraphrasing of a part of the Bible that says you need to love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. So Baba mi sokwe, that's me speaking my native tongue Yoruba, which is a language that's native to Nigeria for those who don't know. Baba mi means my father. Sokwe means he said. Baba mi sokwe when they curse you when they need a blessing. Because at the end of the day, hurt people. And so those individuals who are coming at you are probably hurt themselves, and that's why they're coming at you. So those people need to be responded with love. And if they're vexing on you, that means they're checking for you. It's the difference between them and those who checking on you. Just a difference between like knowing how to spot people who genuinely care about you, who are checking on you, versus people who are just sort of like trying to keep you around and pretending like they actually care about you, but are really just trying to like pre-wagwan, which just means like trying to see what's going on. It's very important to sort of have a good sense about who's actually in your corner versus who's not really in your corner. And if vexing on you, that means they're checking for you. It's the difference between them and those who checking. I run the checkup for you before I go Jekyll on you. You know what? I let it settle on you. So I run the checkup for you before I go Jekyll on you. I let it settle on you. So, meaning I let it settle on you. I hope you've had a few weeks to try to figure out what I mean by that. But this is kind of talking about the other side of responding in love. You know what I mean? It's not always easy to respond in love. I'm not going to lie. You feel me? Like everybody has a limit. Everybody has a breaking point. And so that line is just kind of talking about the fact that I'll run the checkup for you, meaning that the more hate you throw my way, the more I'll try to love you. I'll run the checkup for you. You know what I'm saying? Talking about dollars, talking about whatever it is. I'll run it up for you and I'll try to outdo the hate with the love. But I hope and pray my limit is not reached before I go Jekyll on you. Famously, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the two sides of the same individual. So I'll always do my best to respond in love. And I hope I never get to that point where I have to kind of like switch up and kind of like show the other side in order to get things done. You feel me? The side does exist and I don't like to tap into it at all. But it's there, and I hope it doesn't have to show its face. You feel me? I run a checkup for you. If I go Jekyll on you, I let it settle on you. Shope, cool down. It be like say you want to decapitate the whole crown. It be like say you want to gravitate the whole town. It be like say you born with this, you born for this. I is. That's just me going into my Nigerian bag, man. You know, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, rap is a sport, and music is a sport. In as much as I'm truly only in competition with myself, the fact of the matter is that if I'm trying to elevate and if I'm trying to get better with my bars or my singing or my melodies or how I conduct myself, if I'm getting better and I'm challenging myself at each stage, then at the end of the day, if I end up decapitating a couple crowns in the process, a couple so-called kings, a couple so-called top boys or whatever, then I'm not mad at that. At the end of the day, like, it'd be like, say, the way you're going on this record, the way you're moving, it'd be like, say, you want to decapitate the whole crowd. I kind of do. I'm not mad at that. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I'm trying to get better, and you should too at whatever it is you're doing. It'd be like, say, you want to gravitate the whole town. At the end of the day, I believe that what I am building here, what my team and I are building, more on that later on, is actually really special and has a real kind of like global side to it. So absolutely, I'd love to get as many people involved in it as possible, because what we're trying to do here is actually truly special, and you'll begin to see more and more of that in the coming days and weeks. You'd be like, say, you're born with this, you're born for this. At the end of the day, I'm living in my purpose. I just dig inside the melanin to find a deeper element. I swore I wouldn't rap no more, but it's so evident. I just dig inside the melanin to find a deeper element. The truth of the matter is that once I begin to tap into my Africanness, into my quote unquote my blackness, if you will, that's when I began to actually see real wins in a real kind of way. I mean, I've shared my story before that, so I'm an immigrant from Nigeria to Toronto. And for many years, I kind of like ignored the Niger side of me for multiple reasons. Feel free to check out the bio if you want to sort of like see more details of that. But long story short, it wasn't until years later when I began to really kind of like value that part of my identity and realizing that, listen, that is my foundation. That is a strong part of who I am. I am an African in the diaspora. You feel me? There's two sides to my cultural identity. There's the very strong Niger side, and there's also the sick side, the Toronto side. And as soon as I began to tap into that Niger side more, that's when I began to really live in a more fulfilled kind of way. That's when I began to really discover more of what my purpose was, as opposed to trying to copy this person or emulate that person. And that's when I actually began to see not only the internal wins, but the external wins as well. So a lot of the things that I now have, or accomplishments I've since been able to get, I can really begin to tie to like, man, yeah, as soon as I began to dig inside my melanin, as soon as I began to really tap into that side of my identity, that's when things started popping off. And I swore I wouldn't rap no more, but it's so evident. And I ain't saying I'm the best, I'm just heaven sent. And this is the struggle that I face. This is the struggle. This is one of the things I'm working through, which is reconciling these two sides of my identity. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of the fact that when I started incorporating more of my African side, making more Afrofusion music, that's when I started like tapping into something that was more in line with my purpose. And that's also when externally I started seeing more wins. Now, the interesting thing is that marketing 101 says whatever is working, you do more of it. You feel me? And so the Afrofusion, the vibes, the singing, I'm doing it. I'm going to keep doing it. I love to do it. But the MC still lives within, So that's why I said I swore I wouldn't rap no more. Like, I'm like, listen, I want to do more Afrofusion because it's working, because I love it. But there's this MC inside of me, and I want to confuse the brand. I don't want to confuse people, blah, 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 blah. But the fact of the matter is that the gift is still there, you feel me? And I still like to write. I still like to spit. I still like to play with words. And I'll record these rap records on my own, but I won't put them out. But there was something about this record that just felt so urgent and felt like, man, I gotta put this out. There's something special about this. Maybe it's just because it was sort of some pent-up frustration. It was just very cathartic for me to go in, hear the beat. The beat spoke to me, wrote it, delivered it, and just thought to myself, I don't know. I just confuse the brand and not confuse the brand. I just want to put this out there because at the end of the day, that is a part of who I am. You feel me? And so I wouldn't rap no more, but it's so evident. And so the gift is still there. So I'm still trying to figure out how to incorporate more rap into what I'm doing, kind of like fuse these two worlds more and more. But I'm hoping that I can continue to figure that out. And even as I give you guys the Afro vibes, I'll continue to give you the Afro rap as well. You feel me? I'm trying to figure that out. So that's that. From East Coast to Sea shows, all I see is Kinkos. Rappers copy, plagiarize their lies. It's all a peep show. Listen, rap is cap. You know what I'm saying? So much of the rap industry is capping. So much of social media is capping. You feel me? From East Coast to Sea shows, all I see is Kinkos. People are manufacturing personas that aren't true to who they are. They're manufacturing lies. You feel me? And then other upcoming rappers see these and think, oh, I guess that's what I got to do. So guess what they do? They copy those lies. So that's why all over when I see a bunch of people who have more clout than they do have substance, who aren't actually doing the things they're purporting to be doing. And it's not a secret. We all kind of know this, and I'm just hoping to be one of the real ones, one of the authentic ones out there who was actually living in line with what he's saying. You feel me? Not just trying to be another cap rapper out here. You know what I'm saying? Stop the capping. Stop that I guess the false persona living. At the end of the day, you have to be true. You have to be authentic, because that is what is sustainable, and that is what people are actually going to gravitate you, being your true authentic self. You feel me? So it's the Afro, the African man with a mad fro. My hair is kind of undone right now. I'm going to either braid it or dread it. You let me know what you want, braid or dreads. With a Mac Pro and a macro view of the news, and I choose to refuse to go that way. So I'm beating my own path. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do at the end of the day. I'm doing what God has called me to do, and those who are meant to get it are going to get it. In these fast days, I stack my bread, I stack it tall, and stash it away. You feel me? I try to not flex too much, but we've been fortunate. We're doing some pretty cool things, and I'm making sure that all of the money that the Lord is blessing me and my family with, we're investing it properly, we're saving it properly, and putting it into expanding the business. That's what I'd rather do. I'd rather stack my bread and stash it away in very key places, as opposed to flexing and you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Be wise with your money. So that's it. I think those are my favorite lines from the song, and they just speak to, I think, being transparent, being authentic. And I guess if there's one thing I want you to like take away from the song is that, listen, you can try to script and you can try to plan and you can try to prospect everything out, but at some points in time, you just got to shoot. You just got to do it. And 2100 Freestyle kind of came out that way, where I'm like, listen, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put out this Afrofusion record, and then this is going to happen, and then I'm going to do this, and plan it all out. And then it just didn't exactly work out that way. You know what I'm saying? I think the pandemic made it clear that at the end of the day, we can plan, but none of us are really in control. And so in as much as I try to be mindful about my brand or the image that we craft, that's important, you also have to allow room for serendipity. You have to allow room for spontaneity. You have to allow room for just kind of like bucking the trends a little bit and putting some stuff out there that maybe doesn't exactly necessarily fit with your plan, but trusting that if you're being authentic and if you're being truthful, then it will do what it's supposed to do. And at the end of the day, it'll only serve you and serve the people who are following you along in your journey. So 2100 Freestyle is kind of like that. And I hope to be doing more rap records and find some way to blend both sides of my identity, the Niger side and the Canadian side. Because at the end of the day, that's just the reality of who I am. You feel me? But yeah, that's today's episode. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you're enjoying the record. Thank you for streaming it. Thank you for watching the music video. Shout out to Jonathan Ogden for making such a dope beat. A friend of mine. Question of the day. How are you navigating being spontaneous versus being structured and planned? You know what I'm saying? Which of those two categories do you fall under generally? Are you more spontaneously driven, or are you more methodical and planned out? And how are you trying to balance those two things? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. It's your boy Shope. I love you. I appreciate you. Stay tuned. There's a lot of really cool stuff coming. I always say that, but I'm telling you, I mean that. It's your boy Shope. I love you. Until next time. Peace out.
When they curse is when they need a blessing, and if they vexing on you, that mean they checking for you. It's a difference between them and those who checking on you. I run a checker for you, so I go jackal on you. You know what? I let it settle on you. Cool down, cool down. It be like say